You ready? Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Lancaster County Council to order. I ask that the clerk note for the record that a quorum of council is present, that public notice of the meeting, including the meeting place, has been posted the required length of time in the lobby of the county administration building and on the county website, and that the news media was notified of the meeting time and place. I welcome you to your county council meeting. I would ask that you take a moment to turn off or place on vibrate any cell phones or pagers. Thank you for not wearing any hats or caps in the council chambers, and please be considerate of others in the room by refraining from conversations during the meeting. I ask that you please stand and join council for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation given this evening by Council Member Stuart Graham.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gifts of community, calling, and the work before us. Bless our employees, our neighbors, and this council. Give us clear minds, steady hands, and united spirits. Grant us wisdom to govern well, courage to do what is right, patience to listen, and grace to work together even when we differ. As we consider each item, lead us toward decisions that serve the common good and honor those who call Lancaster County home. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Luis, a second from Mr. Harper. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to move on to citizens' comments. Please bear in mind that this is not a period of dialogue with council or a question and answer period. This is your opportunity to address council with your concerns. I ask that you address your remarks to council as a body and not to any individual council member. Please speak into the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and you will have up to 3 minutes to address council. Your time will not start until you have provided your name and address. Kathy Hurley. Kathy Hurley, oh, okay.
Ms. Hurley's here to speak on her item, and she just wanted to let you know she was here for later on in the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Libby Sweet Lambert.
My name is Libby Sweat Lambert, P.O. Box 4, Van White, South Carolina. Residential address 3480 Activity Road. I found out last week I've not been getting mail that I probably should be getting from the county. You certainly don't miss a tax payment request. We get all of those. But all of the zoning letters or rezoning letters that have been going out, the closure of our road, we weren't getting those. And I was assured that they had been mailed. And as we continued the conversation, we found out that the addresses for those are pulled from your GIS system, not your tax records. So my mail has been going to 3480 Activity Road, and I can assure you that the U.S. Postal Service does not deliver to 3480 Activity Road. Been there 25 years, they don't do it. So a glitch in your system maybe, but it's something I'm sure my husband and I aren't the only ones that have happened to, but it's something you might want to check into. I would like to request that since there's so much growth in the county now, that representatives from the city council, county council, and the school district meet once a month to talk about things that might be coming down the pike. I've asked if that's been going on, and I was told no, maybe bad information. But whatever happens in the city is sent over to the county too. We will have results from whatever the city is adding, and they have been adding a lot of opportunities for homes recently. Concerning the moratorium, I would like an answer in writing as to why the moratorium stopped at 5 and 521. You knew there were two large developments that were going to be within a mile and a half of that, and you chose to ignore. I would like to have it in writing why this council chose, and I would like to ask the council to have a second moratorium area, and that be from Highway 5 to past the intersection of Shiloh Unity and 521. Let's get that area taken care of for a while this group is making decisions about the future of our county. Again, I would like to have something in writing from council explaining how this decision was made. Mailing address, P.O. Box 4, Van White, South Carolina. And I'm going to ask again, what will the legacy of this county council be when we're looking back at it next year, 5 years, 10, 25? Thank you.
Thank you. Joey Byrd.
Good evening. I'm Joey Byrd, resident of Jefferson, South Carolina, 2002 Hilton Road. I am here on behalf of Oceana Gold Hell Gold Mine concerning the relocation of an abandoned cemetery. Just, if you have any questions.
And when we get to that part, if we need to, we know you're here, we'll call you up.
Okay.
Thank you. Janine Clifton.
Janine Clifton, 2023 Oliver Terrace, Indian Land, South Carolina. 4 months. That's how long I've been coming to these meetings in the City Council and the Planning Commission. It's been 8 weeks, and we haven't had a reply to our complaint on the county's position regarding Melanie Lane being a private drive, which makes the entire subdivision at Barberville and Fort Mill Highway illegal. Meanwhile, pardon our disappointment, but the developer is quite excited and celebrating on their social media that they've been issued their permits for final building. So we're kind of a little disappointed. We keep waiting, we keep waiting. They keep getting permits, they keep moving dirt. They're allowed to do a lot of things. And ironically, I have a neighbor who has to file a variance because their swimming pool is going to be a little bit too big. So kind of find that funny, right? The development next to us is completely against the UDO. A lot of violations, and a neighbor in a subdivision swimming pool is going to be too big, so they have to come before you. I really just want your help. I keep coming. I'm not going to stop coming. And it doesn't matter how far they progress. I'll just keep reminding you every day. But please help. It would be wonderful if you could. Thank you.
Thank you. Jane Alford.
Jane Alford, 201 West Elliott Street, Fort Mill. I'm here on behalf of the Lancaster County Arts Council. Good evening. First of all, I want to say that we appreciate your support over the years, and we look forward to working with you in the future to enhance the lives of all Lancaster County residents. We want to make a point of keeping you better informed about our projects and programs. One of our most popular programs is coming up just after Thanksgiving, the Nutcracker Ballet on December 5th. This traditional holiday favorite is as good a performance as you could see in Charlotte or Columbia. It's performed by the South Carolina Ballet Company, along with about 100 local youth dancers, and presented through our Kennedy Center partnership with the Lancaster County School District and City of Lancaster. We still have tickets left for the 7:30 performance at Lancaster High School's multi-purpose building, but you'll want to get yours soon before they're all gone. The ballet kicks off Christmas in the City, a weekend full of holiday activities. The Arts Council will offer free Christmas arts and crafts for children from 2 to 5 p.m. that Saturday, December 6th at the historic Springs House. On Sunday, December 7th, the Arts Council will host countywide Yuletide, a free holiday concert at 3 p.m. at Van Wyck Presbyterian Church. It features 2 powerhouse acts, Sun City's Tucher Flute Ensemble and Sophia's Magical World of Holiday Sweets. The Arts Council has been a vital part of Lancaster County for nearly 50 years, working to enrich the quality of life here by building vibrant and inclusive communities, connecting arts, culture, and economic vitality. And I'm here to invite you all to take part in the arts this holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're now going to go on to item 6A, accreditation of the Lancaster County Sheriff's Department, presented by Chief Watts, Chairman of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Accreditation Council.
Chairman Carnes, Council, thank you for this opportunity. I am Chris Watts, Chief of Police of Rock Hill Police Department. Most importantly, I'm the chair of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Accreditation Council, and why I'm here. Thank you for allowing me to recognize and celebrate Sheriff Fales and his staff at the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. They have successfully completed the accreditation assessment process for state accreditation. They were unanimously approved by the South Carolina Law Enforcement Accreditation Council. Sheriff Fale has succeeded in meeting all of the accreditation standards. This is a big deal and a major accomplishment. It shows Sheriff Fale as a leader in law enforcement, especially here in South Carolina. Accreditation is a challenging process, but ensures that agencies meet best practices in policy. This commitment shows and represents the professionalism, accountability, transparency, and dedication to the people they serve. Kind of let me put this into perspective. Out of the 46 sheriff's offices in the state, only 18 are accredited. Now 9 are state accredited, 9 we call are dual accredited, which they both hold national accreditation and state accreditation. Lancaster County Sheriff's Office is a dual accredited agency. There's over 300 law enforcement agencies total in South Carolina. only 50 are accredited in some manner out of over 300. Sheriff Fale and the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office has placed themselves as leaders, again, in South Carolina law enforcement that other agencies should follow. I want to recognize the accreditation manager, Sergeant Andrew Gillespie, for his diligence and dedication to this task. He was undoubtedly the hardest working person in this process. So let me read a portion of what the lead assessor had to say in the report summary. Accreditation manager Sergeant Andrew Gillespie did exceptional work in putting together a well-organized and detailed assessment. Policies and proofs were easy to follow and met all requirements as outlined in this standard. Agency policies were well written and sufficient proof was provided for each applicable year of the assessment. It is evidence that the agency keeps thorough documentation in regards to adherence to the policy. Now, that's something to be proud of. I would also like to acknowledge Sheriff Fale was a past member of the South Carolina Accreditation Council and who was a valuable member for a number of years. So, Sheriff, On behalf of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Accreditation Council, it is my pleasure to present this certificate. Again, on behalf of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Accreditation Council, Lancaster County Sheriff's Office has demonstrated dedication to excellence and professionalism in South Carolina law enforcement through voluntary compliance to specific standards designed to enhance the professionally delivery of law enforcement services, and is recognized as a leader in South Carolina law enforcement, and is hereby awarded this certificate of accreditation. Congratulations, Sheriff.
Sheriff Bell, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I would like to say a couple of things. You know, it's always good when somebody from the outside comes into your agency, does a deep dive to look at your policies, your procedures, to make sure you have best practices in place and you're doing the right thing. This couldn't have happened without Sergeant Gillespie and his leadership. Somebody has to make all that happen, keep it all together and keep it organized. Writing policies, pulling proofs and stuff on a daily basis. So Sergeant Gillespie, you did a fantastic job. You're an asset to our agency, and I certainly appreciate what you do for us. This is our 6th accreditation on the state level, and all the credit goes to the men and women of the Sheriff's Office. And let me say this, certainly couldn't make this happen without your support, because we have to do certain things, and without council support, it just wouldn't happen. So thank you for what you do for us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on to item 6B, recognition of 3 EMS competition teams. Mr. Clay Cato, Director of EMS.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, Mr. Marstall, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to recognize 3 groups tonight. So we've talked a lot lately about return on investment. The first group that I want you to recognize is our former high school students. If y'all will come forward. These 2 actually graduated from the Lancaster County EMS high school program. They are currently full-time employees for Lancaster County EMS and competed at the state level in Dorchester here a few months ago. This team right here finished 4th, which is an accomplishment for EMTs. They had a very rigorous scenario where they responded as 2 basic EMTs to, I believe it was a frat party with gunshots, correctly? Yes. With piece of gunshots. So the 2 of them had to go in, assess the patients and treat them, and then decide to transport. So we want to recognize them for finishing 4th. In Dorchester for what we call the Paramedic Savers Competition. This competition has been going on about 15 years. Numerous times we've had teams in it. We've actually won it in the past, but this time we ended up 4th. So I'd like to congratulate these, and this is one of the first examples of return on investment for county tax dollars.
I just wanted to say thank you to our mentors and our leaders who put in time. For example, Jeremy Mullen, Isaiah took time out of their busy lives and their work schedules to sit down with us and go through scenarios, and in the end, it paid off. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped get us through and teach us. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
I don't got much else to say except thank you to these people who helped us get here for their mentorship and really just helping show us what we wanted to do. So I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next team In 1997, North Carolina and South Carolina got together and started forming a competition, and it's called the Carolina Competition. It rotates. 1 year it is in North Carolina, and 1 year is in South Carolina. This year, the competition was in Berkeley, South Carolina, and we sent a team down there. Mr. Billy, would you come up, sir? And Mr. Billy Gilliland here, one of our assistant supervisors, decided that he didn't like finishing second, third. He wanted to win it. So we'd like to congratulate Billy for winning first place at the Carolina competition represented in Lancaster County EMS. Last but not least, in the PD area, there's another competition called the PD Regional EMS Competition. It's held in conjunction with Carolina Pines Hospital Systems and Florence Darlington. And we sent a team down there this year, and we've never won this competition before. Well, this year, we decided to win again. So I would like to congratulate Mr. Jeremy Munn and Mr. Isaiah Camp. And Mr. Isaiah Camp is another return on investment. So a few years ago, we started our EMS boot camp. Mr. Camp went through our EMS boot camp and has now been a full-time employee with us for about 3 years. And this guy right here, unfortunately, I used to work with his dad on the street, so all of his bad habits, his son picked up. Mr. Jeremy Munn, Mr. Isaiah Camp, first place at the PD Carolina Pines Regional EMS Symposium.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate the ability to be able to go and compete and represent this county that all of us love so much. But there's a very special little girl here tonight that I want to recognize who has gone several months, giving up her time with her daddy to sit at headquarters and pack competition bags and to sit there while we train. She's even been a patient in scenario trainings. So my little girl, Charlotte, if you would stand up, pretty girl. And as well as the team members that are in the back that have believed in what we wanted to do here and have worked so hard to put the county out there and not only put what they're good at, but what they struggle with in front of their peers, and that's always hard in this business. So thank you guys very much for your time.
My name is Isaiah Camp. I went to Andrew Jackson High School, graduated, wanted to get into the medical field starting out. Didn't really quite know which way I wanted to head into it. And after experiencing some past issues in my life, I got interested into the EMS program. I went through the first responder course, went through the boot camp, and I felt like it was my duty to give back to the community. I enjoy interacting with everyone, despite all walks of life, whether it be different classes or different intellects. Other than that, I enjoy helping the community.
On behalf of the council, I'd like to congratulate each of these teams for the outstanding work that they've done and for the work that we know that you will continue to do for the county. And we're going to go on to Item 6C, recognition of Employee of the Quarter 2025 for the third quarter. Mr. Marstow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and council members. As you've heard already, we have some incredible talent in Lancaster County, certainly from the Sheriff's Office and accreditation to what our EMS team is doing. But luckily, we have about 800 county employees who are doing great things day in and day out. And so this is an opportunity every quarter where among the peers, people nominate other coworkers who are doing good work. Maybe we call it sometimes unsung heroes, but more importantly, we want to focus on and reaffirm the values that we have for customer service or for service as county employees. And so people who are going to come forward tonight, They've either been recognized for their examples of service, respect, teamwork, productivity, or safety and security. And so as we say, we have every service around here from animal shelter to zoning and everything in between. And so a lot of times, a lot of our citizens don't get to interact with county employees depending upon what service you're utilizing. But we certainly have a great dedicated workforce who are ready to go whenever you need us. And so we have a few who've been nominated for the third quarter. And we do this in one we call the general government sector. And then we have the public safety sector as well. So I want to read off in both categories, and then we will have an employee of the quarter for each of the different two categories. And so we'll start here. We have their pictures and their departments on the screen, but I want to first welcome Shanda Kirkland from our building department to come forward. Shanda, congratulations on being nominated. Stand over there. And not everyone could make it tonight. But we do have on the screen, Jennifer Ritz is not here with us tonight. She's in our payroll, so we very much appreciate her work. We have Alan Williams. If Alan Williams will come up as our director of the animal shelter. As Alan reminded me today, we're getting a little full at the animal shelter, so always think about adoption out there. So congratulations, Alan. And then we've got Christy Johnson is with our facilities group from Parks and Rec. She's not here to join us this evening. And then we're going to call up, do we have one more on there? Yeah, there you go. We got our public safety. We're going to start with Tommy Howell. I don't think Tommy's here. Then we will go on to, on the screen, you see the pictures there. We also got some members. Stephen Hebert from Sheriff's Office, come on up. Congratulations on being nominated. We got Billy Lloyd, who's here from our fire service. Billy? Congratulations on being nominated. And we have in the audience with us tonight Mike Majette, our fire marshal. Congratulations on being nominated. We've also got then Mr. Billy Jennings from a deputy in the Sheriff's Department. Don't see Billy. And then we've got Brittany Morgan, one of our EMTs from EMS. So Brittany, come on up. Congratulations on being nominated. And so then what we do is we do have a selection committee who goes through, and out of all the nominees for the quarter, we come up with an employee of the quarter, and we'll highlight first the general government employee, and she's not here, but Jennifer Ritz. One of the things that was written about her is that Jennifer treats everyone with respect and professionalism, creating a positive and supportive environment. As an excellent teacher, Jennifer takes the time to truly listen to others, ensuring she understands their questions or concerns before providing clear, thoughtful explanations. Her ability to communicate effectively and help others gain a deeper understanding is a true asset to the county. So congratulations to Jennifer. And then our employee of the quarter for public safety is here. We're going to highlight, there's a couple of things mentioned about her. It says that she truly embodies the heart of EMS service. She goes above and beyond for her patients, providing not only clinical care, but also emotional support in moments of crisis. She takes time to explain procedures, reassure family members, and ensure patients feel heard and safe. Her dedication to public service and the community is evident in every shift she works, and her impact extends far beyond the ambulance doors. Congratulations to Brittany Morgan.
going to move on to item 7, our consent agenda. We have a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent agenda items 7A, 7B, and 7C.
Have a second?
Second.
Second. Motion from Mr. Mosteller, a second from Mr. Neal. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to go on to our non-consent agenda. Item 8A, Resolution 1312-R2025. Resolution title, a resolution to approve the removal and relocation of an abandoned cemetery. Mr. Morstall.
Mr. Chairman and council members, as you have before you, the Hale Gold Mine has informed the county that it owns real property on which is located an abandoned cemetery, sometimes known as the Hilton Cemetery, an archaeological site. The abandoned Hilton Family Cemetery is located within the project boundaries of the expanded Hale Gold Mine facility, and it's likely that the expanded Hale Gold Mine will disturb the abandoned cemetery. And so they're requesting that the abandoned Hilton Cemetery be relocated to the new Hale Gold Mine Cemetery located east of Ernest Scott Road on such a parcel bearing Lancaster tax map that's in your agenda item. And then we do have an attorney from Hale Gold Mine on the line, or teams if you have any questions. But this is a resolution for council approval to allow for this abandonment.
Any questions? You have a question, Mr. Okay. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Neal, a second from Mr. Harper. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. It's approved. Okay, we're going to go on item 8B, third reading of ordinance number 2025-1993, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2025-1971 relating to the appropriation of funds and the approval of a detailed budget for Lancaster County for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, to further provide for revenues and expenditures during the fiscal year and to provide for matters related thereto. This passed 7-0 at the October 13th, 2025 County Council meeting, passed 7-0 at the October 27th, 2025 County Council meeting. A public hearing held at the November the 10th, 2025 County Council meeting. Third reading was postponed to November the 24th, 2025. Ms. Pravuznak, and do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Mosteller.
Good evening, council, Mr. Marstall, staff. This item it's a three-part item, but this item was deferred, like Mr. Carnes mentioned, on November 10th for review of the EMS contract related to the purchase of 11 cardiac monitors. And otherwise, there are no other changes to the agenda item.
And I will offer for council is that, yes, the contract, it is the county standard contract, has been reviewed by the cardiac monitor vendor, Stryker. They've made some edits to it or strike-throughs. The county attorney has read it. It does have and she can speak to it, but it does have two of our out clauses in it. Once we purchase these, the pricing is still good through the end of the year. That was one of the main concerns about the out clauses. So the pricing's still good. They're ready to order. We're ready to execute should this pass tonight. So the request was for the attorney to review the contract. They are using our standard with some recommended strike-through and changes, but we're prepared to recommend approval for you tonight.
Okay. If there's any questions?
We good with the contract?
So it is the county's standard template contract. They came back and added some things like warranty issues and so forth and so on, but our standard language is all in there that I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
But knowing that contracts like this, they're not going to negotiate away waivers of warranties and such. I will approve it with reservation, but
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8C, public hearing and third reading of ordinance number 2025-1995. An ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Lancaster County to rezone approximately 59.14 acres, tax map number 0057-00-041.00, which is located at 5294 Pageland Highway, from the rural neighborhood district to the agricultural residential district. Planning Department case number RZ-2025-2080. The Planning Commission staff also recommended approval of the rezoning, and the Planning Commission recommended approval by a unanimous vote of 7-0. This passed 7-0 at the October 27, 2025 County Council meeting, passed 7-0 at the November 10, 2025 County Council meeting. We did not have anyone sign up for public comment, so we'll move forward. Ms. Williams, do you have anything that you need to contribute?
The only reason this one is on the agenda tonight is so that we could have the public hearing. There have been no other changes.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Graham, a second from Mr. Harper. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. All right, we're going to move on to item 8D, third reading of ordinance 2025-1996, an ordinance to amend the Lancaster County Code related to rules and regulations for Lancaster County parks and recreation areas and facilities. This passed 7-0 at the October 27, 2025 County Council meeting, passed 7-0 at the November 10, 2025 County Council meeting. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman, council members, this is third reading, and this does highlight again for folks, these are additional rules and regulations for the Parks and Recreation. Staff are requested. Also, there are some additional requests that were incorporated in here from Duke Energy as it relates to the Springs boat landing site. These additional rules and regulations have been reviewed by the Sheriff's Office and the Sheriff, and they have to do with the operation of watercraft on lakes, streams, ponds, riverbanks, or other park property. Talking about leaving vehicles or boat trailers overnight on park properties, even talking about fishing and where to fish with boat landing and boat access, and leaving unattended vehicles, boats, and other property. And so this helps give us some more clarity and definition within our park rules. And we ask for your consideration for a third reading.
All right, we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis, a second from Mr. Mosteller. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8E, third reading of ordinance number 2025-1997, an ordinance to amend the Lancaster County Code, Chapter 6, Article 1, related to the animal enforcement provisions. This passed 7-0 at the October 27, 2025 County Council meeting, and passed 7-0 at the November 10, 2025 County Council meetings. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have Mr. Harper with the second from Mr. Luis. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman, council members, as we've discussed previously, we're in the process of moving the animal control function from the sheriff's office to the animal shelter. And so as part of that, we had to make some changes to the animal control ordinance, recognizing the employees are now employees of the animal shelter, not the sheriff's office, but also looking at some definition changes about related to adequate shelter, some conversation councils had, but also how people report the violations of nuisance animals. So these have been incorporated from council's input from the first two readings, and so we ask for your consideration for third reading.
All right, do we have any discussion?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
so
Mr.
just going
Luis.
through sections 6.8 and 6.9,
these are the sections that seem to be removing the requirements for spay and neutering or microchipping or anything like that. So I think there's a lot more work to do on those. So I would recommend that we strike those two sections from the amendment and proceed with all the other changes.
Okay, we have, you want to make that as a?
So I will make a motion to strike the revisions, or a motion to amend to strike the revisions that are in sections 6.8 and 6.9 of the proposed ordinance.
We have a motion to amend the ordinance. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Graham. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote on the amendment. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It passes unanimously. We'll go back to the original motion as amended. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It passes unanimously. Okay, we're going to go on to item 8F, public hearing and third reading of ordinance number 2025-1998. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 2021-1770, the terms of which created the Van Wyck Fire Protection District in order to expand funding authority and clarify certain governance functions and otherwise relating thereto. This passed 7-0 at the October 27, 2025 County Council meeting and passed 7-0 at the November 10, 2025 County Council meeting. We have a public hearing scheduled. No one signed up for that, so we'll go on to the ordinance. Is there a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Graham and a second from Mr. Neal. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman and council members, as noted, this is a third reading. The gist of this ordinance is to allow for the expenditure of capital and operating expenses under this ordinance by the Van Wyck Fire District. As it's currently stated, the district fees are only to be used for capital expenditures, so this would allow for operating and personnel. And then also we had another change in there about making the fire chief, the volunteer fire chief or the representative, as a non-voting member of the Fire District Protection Board. And so those are the two main changes established with this ordinance for third reading.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it's unanimous. Okay, now we'll go on to item 8G, second reading of ordinance number 2025-2000, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Lancaster County to rezone approximately 24.1 acres, tax map number 0103-00-018.00 and 0103-00-018.03 and 0103-00-018.04, which is located on Red Hill Farm Road from the low-density residential LDR district to the rural residential RR district. Planning Department case number is RZ-2025-1834. Planning Commission recommended approval by a vote of 6-0, and the planning staff also recommended approval of rezoning request. This passed 6-1 at the November 10th, 2025 County Council meeting with Councilmember Mosteller opposed. Ms. Williams. First, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Harper, a second from Mr. Luis.
Thank you. So I would like to start out this presentation by offering an apology to this council and to the public. When I drafted this ordinance, I had transposed the wrong zoning classification on that ordinance. I had put in RN, rural neighborhood, instead of the rural residential RR. All of your information in your packet and all of the things that were presented, other than me misnaming the correct zoning classification, is correct. Other than that, nothing has changed from the previous request. I did mention during the last presentation that the applicant had mentioned chickens and cows, and she did clarify to me that she prefers this area to be primarily farmland and agricultural gardening and that type of thing, and does not actually want livestock at this time. One of the questions that was asked at the last presentation was the confirmation that a mobile home park or anything of that nature is not allowed in the zoning district, and I was able to go verify that again and read it, and I can confirm that that is not allowed here. If you have any questions for this, I'm here, as well as Ms. Hurley, if you have any questions specifically for her.
All right. Are there any questions from Ms. Williams?
I just want to commend you for being open and transparent and recognizing, hey, I made a mistake, calling it out, recognizing it in the same format that the error was made, so publicly to the public and to council. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for your work on this and looking into the questions that we had asked from last week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Mosteller.
April, I understand what they're trying to do here, and I don't have a problem with an acre or something, but I feel it's my job to protect the neighboring LDR's property also. And the nearest RR is over a half a mile away, and to me, that's just putting this RR right in the middle of a LDR development area. So for that reason, that's why I'm not supporting it. I'm not against what they're trying to do. It's just I have to try to protect the neighbors also.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, motion passes 5-4 and 1 against. And we're going to move on to item 8H, an ordinance to rescind policies related to telecommuting and remote work included in the Lancaster County personnel policies and procedures in accordance with the Lancaster County Code, Chapter 2, Article 4, relating to the Lancaster County personnel policy. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. I'll second.
We have a motion from Mr. Neal and a second from Mr. Harper. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman, council members, in September 2024, the County Council adopted an update to the county's personnel policies and added several new policies, including the county administrator's ability to approve remote work options for certain positions where and when appropriate. Since the adoption of the remote work policy in September 24, the administrators approved approximately 13 types of remote work provisions from 2 positions in IT, generally being thought to be fully remote, 5 days a week, working remote with some in meetings. But also there are some positions having 1 to 3 days remote during the work week in a variety of departments. And so the remote work has been used on a limited basis, and for some positions, it's intended to only be used for a limited time frame. So we've approved some, then rescinded them when it didn't make sense again or the time frame had run out. Part of this is seen as a recruitment and retention effort. For instance, when you bring in some new employees, if they need some transition times for family to get settled or whatever it may be, this has been a good option and is one of the options that was granted as part of the remote work. And so it does follow the spirit of the personnel policy about recruitment and retention. I know council members have expressed some concern it's not available to all positions in the county, and only for those that make sense and depend upon the position, but also depends on how much interaction these positions have with the public or with staff and other needs. And so I know there's an interest in discussing this. I still think there's value in having it in the policy, but as I said, it's limited use, and again, it can be rescinded or expanded based upon individual needs as they come into the workforce. So that's how I've used it since it's been adopted. And I said it's generally been used on a limited basis. But as you go forward, we'll have to address, however you go forward, that 2 positions basically are thought to be fully remote. So we'll have to bring them, find office space and things. And then I know 1 position still trying to address some family issues to get relocated. So if we talk about moving forward, those will just be kind of 3 considerations we'll have to address.
All right. Is there any discussion? Test, test. Yes, it's working again. Okay, we're going to move on to item 9, discussion and action items. First, item 9A, receive
Chairman Carnes?
information. Yes.
So did that record for the minutes, or?
Okay. Okay, vote on item 8H, first reading ordinance number 2025-2005 was a, motion was made by Bryant Neal and seconded by Steve Harper, and the vote was 6-0. Okay, now we're going to move on to item 9A, or 9A, receive information and take desired action regarding commissioning of code enforcement officers. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman, council members, on November 10th, council took an action for an ordinance 2025-1994 that related to commissioning of enforcement officers. This again goes back to the animal control officers moving from the sheriff's office to animal shelter, plus our zoning, how we look at commissioned officers to enforce county laws. And so part of that is the county administrator says shall recommend to the county council the appointment and commissioning of enforcement officers as may be necessary for the proper security, general welfare, and convenience of the county. And so here before you, I've listed those positions within the county who I am recommending for commissioning. There are 7 names on the list, again, in our zoning, code enforcement, animal control. And so, if approved, the oath for commissioning would be administered by the county clerk to county council, or could be clerk to court, but we have it lined up for the clerk to county council.
Okay, so we need to take a vote on this. Do we have a
Yes,
motion
please.
to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion for Mr. Luis. Do we have a second? Second for Mr. Mosteller. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, item 9B, receive information and take desired action regarding adding financial documents to the county website. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman, council members, at the last committee of the whole meeting, council discussed the issue of transparency and wanted to add more county information and financial documents that would be easily accessible to the public. We do have a lot of documents on the county website right now, including the line item detail of the budget, a lot of the ACFR, as we call it, the audit information, but the county council specifically referenced posting the county checkbook ledger and P-card transactions on the county website. And so since that time, county staff has taken your request and kind of built out or talked about a full transparency page for the website. And so our CFO, Ms. Sabrina Harris, is taking the lead on that, and she has some information in a presentation to get some of your feedback input to see if it meets your needs is where we're heading for some transparency. Ms. Harris?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, council members. Good evening to you. All right, we do have a presentation if we can cue.
Is her mic on?
Testing, yes. Testing forward. All right. All right, so I'll walk you through, the model that I'll refer to as a phased-in model for a transparency initiative. And so to really address that, we have heard what the residents have asked for and heard what council have asked for. And it is a direction that we had, even proposed for ourselves, that we begin to look at what information is out on our website and to be able to add some more detail there to be able to just communicate not just the high-level versions of our budget and ACFR, which is really the before we start and once we've completed the fiscal year, but to show incrementally what we're doing with our funds and resources and so on. And so the reason we want to be able to do that is, again, to answer what you've asked for, what the public has asked for, to build that trust, to show that we are being transparent, we're sharing the information that we have, to align with industry best practices. We do have some reference counties that are already doing this that we've been able to look at and see what's already out there and, in a way, not reinvent the wheel, but look at exactly what's being shared and kind of use that as a path forward for us. All right, back us up. All right, so currently, again, we have our annual information out there that you can drill down into and see our annual ACFR or our annual audit each year, as well as our budget documents every year. Once we've gotten our budget approved, we do also share out the capital improvement plan as we update that along with the budget development process every year. And when you drill into the budget page, you can see some things like the budget calendar to be able to follow the process every year, as well as the actual adopted budget for prior years that you can drill down and look at the archives. And so right now, as from a financial perspective, these are the only items that are out there. All right, and so that proposed model that I mentioned, we are looking at trying to phase in sharing some of those other documents that would be good information to be able to share with council for decision making, but also to be able to share with residents to understand how we're doing month to month with our collections, as well as how we're using the resources. And so we are proposing that we build out the web page to be able to do that, to create a dedicated space for transparency, and to start with the financial documents, but to be able to expand out to other reports that would be relevant to share, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But starting off with our revenue collections, our budget to actuals, looking at our check register and our P card, because those are some of the things that right now we could start to pull those reports and be able to share with you what a proposed layout would look like, and make sure that the information that we do share is something that council has an interest in seeing as well, and then begin to phase in after that a regular reporting cadence for each of those different documents, whether it's going to be something that comes out monthly, quarterly, or annually. And as we build out that schedule, be able to assign roles to who's going to do what, and just make sure it's something that we can replicate month over month or quarterly or whatever the agreed upon schedule is going to be. And also looking forward into when we roll out our new ERP, once we've gotten into Workday, being able to leverage that software to help us to be able to create some dashboarding and some real-time data that can be sliced and diced and just looked at different ways, but also to be used as not just information, but for decision-making tools for council for going forward. All right, and so this is something that council is probably used to seeing once a month. We put together what we call the budget monitoring report, and it shows summary data of our collections as well as the spending. It's primarily focused on the general fund, and so we take it, and there's a lot of manual preparation to put this together to be able to summarize it into about an 8 to 10 page document, just to give you a snapshot of where we are at that point in time, but also to compare ourselves to where we were in the immediate prior year. And so we break that out into a little bit of narrative detail along with the financials, as well as some charts that we create for that. And so again, this is something that we already do every month that we could, instead of just sharing with council, be also be able to push this out to the public to be able to view as well. Skip one. Okay. All right. Next level deeper would be, what we're paying for. And so this is just a snapshot of a report that comes right out of our current financial system, our check register, just looking at who we're paying, how much we're paying, and when those payments happen. And so as you see those check runs, that shows the number of transactions that are included in that batch of checks that got cut for that particular batch.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Are we able to, we're not going to put individual names on here, but do we have the information on which department?
We can look at how we might be able to rerun these reports differently to break it out by department. I don't know if check register is one of those, but I think as we look at the different options, we can kind of talk through what would be the best presentation to show for each report. But this is just a straight, raw export right out of the financial system as it is. And so a part of the goal, too, would be that we don't have to have so much manual manipulation. We want to be, in being transparent, pull it the way it is, present it the way it is, but we may be able to look at what criteria we filter to show on that final report. Okay. And then just one more level deeper is looking at our P-card transactions. And so this wouldn't be all of the transactions across the organization, but it's primarily the low dollar transactions at $2,500 or lower. We do have a few that we call ghost cards, and it's not a plastic that someone would carry to swipe, but it is a card number that we would use to pay those big bills like our register of deeds, to pay our utilities, and those are two examples. But this is one that when you look at this, and again, it's just a straight export right out of our P-card sign-off system, you do see the names, and I think we can include those or exclude those, but you see the transaction date when it was purchased, the amount, you see what line item it was coded to and who the vendor was. You also see if there was a credit that came back. So at this level, you don't see any notes from the actual card holder to say what it was for, or what I would usually call the who, what, when, and where about a transaction. I don't know exactly if that's something we can pull for this type of report, but this is kind of the starting place.
Again, I believe in transparency, but as far as every individual, to me, I think department, I don't know, is.
I agree with,
I don't want somebody to be questioning, county employees calling them up, why'd you spend $496 for in print if it come from the rec department? That's all you need to know. Now, as far as council goes, you need to use our names.
Okay, but I think that
we would agree with that. But individual county employees, I think by department, and then if anybody has any questions, they could, if they wanted to dig deeper, they could. But I don't like calling out individual employees.
okay,
I think by department's transparent. From my point of view now, everybody up here might be different, but.
Yeah, I think before we would call any final version of what we would put out final, we would come back to council with a couple of variations of what these report outs would look like, and then agree on what the path forward would be, and set ourselves up to be able to consistently run the same report month over month.
Any other comments?
Well, I think you kind of said it was, we've kind of talked about it, is that some of it is the information is out there, is that this is a way that we can look to organize it so that it's in one spot that people can locate very easily. So a lot of this information, not this information, but there is a lot of information out there right now.
Yeah, some is out there, not to this level of detail, but we do have some very high-level financial information out there.
Any other comments?
I was just going to ask, I think related to the earlier question and what you had said, the who, what, when, where, if there's a way as these kind of, because these are the initial transaction reports, but I would imagine that there's a subsequent approval of certain transactions that have to be done, and then there would be an itemization of what those items were for. I think that's more what we're talking about, and we can do that from a department level as well, just so that there's some clarity and context to some of these purchases, because to Mr. Harper's point, if somebody's looking at it and going, for imprint, what is that? I know what those are, but does everyone really understand what those uses are for? And then they're seeing these multiple charges and may not understand it.
Okay, so is the request that the level of detail, like the sign-off from the card holder, the comments that they put in?
I'm just saying, I don't know how difficult it's going to be. I think that's just kind of where we're going. I just don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, if there's that much manual labor that needs to go into having to do that, as opposed to an automated report like this. So I think it's more just an analysis of it and just like exploring it.
Okay, yeah, we can come back with the options. Yes, sir.
Do you code expenses by department? So does each department have a separate code line so that you could run the report based on the code and then add what the department is by the code?
I think we can go back. It is coded. Each P-card transaction is coded by an individual code. And so I think we can go back and look at the different variations of how we might be able to present it. If we can run it by code, if we can run it by department. I know the P-card system is set up a little bit different than the way it is in our general ledger system. And, we can look at what options we have and maybe come back with a couple that, would satisfy the request.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Graham.
Two thoughts. One is the ones that I've seen that are examples of ones that do this very well, Charleston County is being one of them. They're using a business intelligence reporting system and dumping data in there, and then they're showing it. This is not what we're talking about out of the gate, which makes it harder. right?
It does make it a little bit harder if you want to see it presented a certain way. And so that's why the, I guess the more detailed and dashboarding options wouldn't be available to us until we've actually gone live with Workday. And so we're not having to try to recreate this thing or to try to find an interim solution while we're already working
Right.
on, such a robust ERP.
So that's where it's called Workday?
Workday, yes, sir.
And do you all have an anticipated time frame of when that roughly would get rolled out?
We do. The financial module, so there's 3 different modules. In particular, financial module, we expect to go live on July 1st. So starting the new fiscal year, we'll be in the new system. And so as we are right now in the configuration stage, we're working with our Workday team and our external consultants to be able to configure the system to do the work that we need it to do.
Okay. My second question is more along the lines of and I guess this is a question for council, is how far back are we going? I mean, are we just going to start on 1 year? Are we showing the last 4 years, the last 3 years, 5 years? Like how far? I think that's an outstanding question, is how far are we going back? Or are we just moving forward?
Anybody have any comments to Mr. Graham's question?
We do have a recommendation.
I would suggest probably starting out moving forward to
Absolutely.
make it easier and have a clear delineation when the new system kicks in. We have all that information. And then we could also have a historical look back somewhere else done, maybe at the same time, done at a different time. But
Certainly, if you're looking at dumping data from previous years into that data warehouse, then it would be a lot easier.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Will you be able to pull all the current transactions into the new system? Is there?
Not all of them. So we do have a plan about being able to pull some of the historical data, and just knowing that when we pull historical data, it requires a lot of work with validating the data. And so we're doing our best to scrub what we can right now, but to even try to configure the system. And so our plan with this, with transitioning to Workday, is that we would load 3 years of historical data. It won't have the same level of detail, but it will be the transaction, the amount, and some of the what I would consider very basic detail. But we won't have the ability to drill down into the lowest level of detail like we do now in Smart Fusion with the historical data.
Any other comments? All right, you have.
All right. I just got a few more slides here. Okay, doesn't want to do it. Sherry, can you advance that for me, please? All right, thank you. All right, so other opportunities that we're looking at outside of the just showing the financial summary data or detailed information is going forward, being able to pull in things like projects and looking at specific projects, like some examples are Public Works, the capital sales tax projects and their progress, projects that are on the capital improvement plan, incorporating press releases through the communications department, our FOIA request, procurement, and our solicitations, being able to link out to our solicitation dashboard, as well as we receive grants, pulling in some of that grant activity to be able to share that as well.
All right.
Next slide. All right, and so here's just a kind of a snapshot of the direction that we're talking about going in. And again, it's a collaborative effort between finance, communications and marketing, as well as administration. And as we begin to roll in those other pieces of things we want to show, like the projects, being able to pull in the departments that are actually doing the work that can provide the updates that we need as far as progress and, whatever the current status is at whatever increment we're going to be able to share the information. And so where we envision having that transparency button kind of in the bottom band on each screen. When you click transparency, you'll come to a dedicated site that looks something like what you see on the screen, and there'll be other buttons that you can drill down into. For example, if you click on finance, that's where you would link out to where you can look at the historical financial reports, the check registers and P card and so on. And then, the viewer could, choose where they would want to go from there. Next slide, please. All right, and then really just a breakdown of the different roles involved. Finance would be, with the financial data, being able to make sure it's accurate, it's readable and understandable, putting out information that it's of interest to the people who want to read it and understandable to the folks who want to read it. Communications would build out the web design, make sure it's consistent with the Lancaster brand, that it's accessible, and then administration giving us the strategic charge and oversight of the process. Next slide, please. All right, a part of that work is also defining what the cadence is going to be, what things will come out monthly, quarterly, and annually. And then what we expect to gain is that the residents are getting what they ask for, and they're better able to understand the finances, how things are operating, how we're using resources. It'll support council with strategic decision-making, and it reinforces that we are being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Next slide. All right, and so from here, we would determine who's going to do what, assign specific leads in the finance department of who's going to pull this work together every month, assign a specific lead in communications and marketing, how they're going to build out the website, and fully define and document what our update process is going to be, how the work is going to flow, what department's going to own what pieces. Coming up with the layout, we'll draft some visuals to come back to council with. And so we're proposing just for phase one is that we would begin next year, right after the new year, but to start to put these reports out, the ones that we are already able to pull once we've agreed upon what the actual layout or what the detail will look like, that we would start that in February with January's data. And so every month for those things that we're doing monthly, it would be for the immediate prior month. And same for quarterly and annually for the immediate prior period. All right, next slide. All right, now I can answer any questions you have or take any other feedback you have.
Any additional questions or feedback? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work on it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 9C, adoption of the 2026 calendars for council meetings, board and commission meetings, advisory board meetings, and the county holiday schedule. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion for Mr. Luis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Harper. Ms. Simpson.
We just need the motion and vote to adopt the calendars, and then we will advertise those in a general newspaper, which is already built into the budget.
All right. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, now we're going to go on to item 9D, receive information and take desired action regarding appointments and/or reappointments to various boards and commissions. Ms. Simpson.
Sorry, I have to get my glasses out. Okay, the first application is for the Airport Commission for District 7. Gerald Danko has applied. He would be serving his first four-year term that would end on 6/30/2029.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve Mr. Danko. He's my appointee. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Harper. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That passes 6-0. I'm going to recuse myself on the next item because my brother's being appointed to a board and don't want to skew that in any way. So, Mr. Mosteller, if you could take over.
Okay, let's see. This is appointment to the Van Wyck Protection District Commission. Tony Carnes to fill an unexpired term that would end on 6/30/2027. I have a motion.
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Got a second, okay. Everybody in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Passes 5-0. One is, it's right. All right, tell Mr. Carnes he can come back in. See it, okay.
Do you have any other items to consider, Ms. Simpson?
No, sir. Just the current vacancies are in your packet for you to look at, and current term expirations also. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to need a motion to go into executive session. I have a lengthy paragraph to read here, so I need a motion to go into executive session in regards to 4 items. The receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege regarding a potential contractual matter relating to an economic development project, Project Alpine 2. The receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege regarding a potential contractual matter relating to the EMS headquarters bay. The receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege relating to a contractual matter for certain funding provided by the South Carolina Department of Social Services, and the discussion of personnel matters pursuant to South Carolina Code of Laws 30-4-70 A1 related to the County Administrator's Office and the County Administrator's evaluation and contract, and to invite economic development staff in to discuss the first matter, the Deputy County Administrator to discuss the second matter, and the CFO and Clerk of Court to discuss the third matter. To have a motion. Motion to go and have a motion from Mr. Neal, and a second from Mr. Mosteller. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We are in executive session. Can I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Graham. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We are out of executive session. Ms. Merck DuPont.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, council met in executive session in regards to 4 items. The receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege regarding a potential contractual matter relating to an economic development project, Project Alpine 2. The receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege regarding a potential contractual matter relating to the EMS headquarters bay. The receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege related to a contractual matter for certain funding provided by the South Carolina Department of Social Services, and the discussion of personnel matters pursuant to South Carolina Code of Laws 30-4-70A1 related to the County Administrator's Office and the County Administrator's Evaluation and Contract. No motions were made, no votes were taken.
We have a motion come out of executive session.
Already.
We did, already did that.
We're out.
We're out.
We had a motion.
Motion.
Had a motion,
Out of
yeah.
executive
Coming out of it. Gotcha. Sorry. I'd like to make a motion to terminate the existing contract with the county administrator and authorize the chair to negotiate a new contract with the county administrator.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Neal. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.